Of teamwork and building bridges. 10 years of sparking change. 10 years of providing Burmese migrants not only education, but the tools for a better life.
Instead of chopping the trees, they became carpenters.
The 10-year anniversary of BEAM, Bridging Educational Access to Migrants, marks a critical moment to reflect on its beginnings and mission, to celebrate its successes, and to embrace and prepare for the challenges ahead.
Actually, I have so many dreams that I want to do.
The idea, because they see more.
BEAM opened its doors in Chiang Mai, Thailand in 2010. But its story began much earlier, in a darker time, in a darker country. Yat Cha was a senior government official in Burma, an honest man, proud of his country's culture. Unhappy with corruption, however, he sought peaceful change. And in 1988, realizing this was the time to act, he joined the student demonstrations. For that, he lost his job, and his family lost everything. Soon came more devastation. An accident left him paralyzed. His 10-year-old son, Cha-Cha, struggled as well. His mother gave up a renowned career as a puppet dancer to get a job to pay for Cha-Cha's education. He sold books by the side of the pagoda's stairway, learning English from the books and the buyers. He started in computer science after graduating from high school, but he felt lost. He approached his father for advice.
My father at that time, he paralyzed, and he was sitting in his chair, and I went to him and I asked him, can you suggest me what pathway shall I choose? And he told me one thing, whatever pathway your heart tells you, choose it, and I will be supportive for this.
Cha-Cha's heart said to follow his father, to seek change for his embattled country.
What I really want in my blood inside me is change, the long-standing peaceful change. So I found the answer in education. This is a generational issue. So from one generation to another generation, we need to carry on the effort.
Cha-Cha's life work had begun, educating Burmese migrants. A natural disaster would soon heighten the need and make it immediate. On December 26, 2004, a tsunami devastated thousands of Burmese along the coast of southern Thailand. Mistrusted by the Thais, abandoned by their own government, ignored by the world, they struggled to survive. In a construction camp near the beach in Phuket, they were asked if education for their children would help. The answer was eye-opening. No, they said. Our children are back in Burma. What we need is education for ourselves. That answer brought action. Within the year, the Chiang Mai Learning Center opened, a 3-month program providing basic educational skills for adult working migrants. Following his dream, Cha-Cha signed up to teach. In 2009, he and other teachers decided something more was needed, a path to higher education. They opened a new school in Chiang Mai that offered a broad range of courses necessary for passing the GED test and developing vocational skills. That dream was called BEAM, and since its doors opened in 2010, what began as a hard-to-find little school at the end of the road has flourished. More than 200 students have completed the GED course. and nearly 1,500 have received vocational training. From a single star, Beam's reach has extended far and wide. The sold-out cultural exhibit in 2012 in Chiang Mai put Beam on the map. A journey around Burma and Thailand to see Beam projects and partners in action illustrates the universal values of Beam's educational philosophy. Beam began with 4 founding directors and a handful of students, a small group made powerful by its heart and shared mission. Change came steadily. More students, more reach, more academic and vocational offerings, clothing design and manufacturing in the Himalayan region, research on non-formal education in 9 states in Burma, baking classes and business practices in the Delta, a firewood to fine furniture project in Burma, policy programs for migrants and people in conflict areas in collaboration with governments, the United Nations, and community organizations. Burmese language lessons for children in construction camps, and new vocational skills for their parents.
For example, they can carry the bricks, but they cannot make the wall.
And yet, with all the growth, the bond, a sense of family, has only strengthened.
Coming here and seeing how like different teachers, different students, different staff member like support each other is really empowering. I think that shows the importance of Beam's work.
With that family has come pride, something new for the Burmese in Thailand. Pride among teachers and partners, pride among students and graduates, not just in Chiang Mai, but all around Thailand and Burma.
Definitely like a big Beam family. I feel like I'm part of it, even though I'm new to it.
At first, working alone, Beam struggled to be heard, a common problem for schools and organizations in the region. Cha-Cha travels far and wide in Thailand and Burma, working from the ground up to build the bridges that bring people, projects, and the 2 countries together. A relationship with MEII, Migrants Education Integration Initiative, brought 7 provinces, 17 organizations, 800 teachers, and 15,000 students together to advocate for concrete change at high government levels. Teaming with ELAP, Education Legal Assistance Program, community organizations, UN agencies, and ministries brought the legal focus to craft specific education legislation. Meanwhile, an entrepreneur's program is bringing together the business and working communities.
So there should be the kind of like a connection, because the business sector, they need the workers from the communities, especially from the remote areas or border towns. There should be the bridge.
For generations, the Burmese migrant community has not been a player in important government decisions in either country. In Burma, for instance, there's a saying,
Anyone who left the country, they are the ones who don't love the country.
Beam and its partners fight daily for migrant rights. Beam successfully pushed for legislation that provided documents for adult workers, students, and children that allow them to cross borders, work, and attend school. Beam and his partners fought for 7 years to pass laws in both Burma and Thailand that allow migrants to get credit for courses completed and also to transfer those credits earned in one country to schools in the other. A critical change. Recently, authorities in Ranong closed schools, affecting 2,700 students and 84 teachers. Beam and MEII leapt into action. Cha-Cha visited more than 100 families, documenting their situations. That got him a meeting with the governor of Renang. The governor listened to Cha-Cha's argument for immediately reopening schools. He also agreed to a program Cha-Cha put forward that will better allow Burmese children to continue their education at either Thai or Burmese public schools.
Because these families and kids are going back to Burma one day, so they need to be prepared. My biggest strength is to listen and also to analyze the real need on the ground and to dare to address this to whoever.
What has all of this added up to? Change and hope.
Actually, I have so many dreams that I want to do.
Mabel, too, grew up in a refugee camp on the border. 4 years ago, she came to Beam. Even then, her passion was clear.
I really want to give opportunity for the women to build up their capacity to have more confidence to speak together with the men.
4 years later, Mabel has graduated from Beam and is in her final year at Chiang Mai University. She embodies the Beam fighting spirit.
I want to go further to do like master degree, to get more knowledge, to get more skill, like that I can really walk and contribute back to the community.
Challenges, of course, remain: political, economic, and social. It will be a long struggle, but for the children of today and tomorrow, Beam and its partners have the will and the strength to prevail.
I know that I will not probably see the change in my lifetime, but the later generations will carry out.